sometimes in robot fighting, things go exactly the way you want them to. Until they don't. That was definitely the case here in our number 7 spot against Pramheda. DropKick manages to dodge the initial hit, but then takes a huge hit across the arena, the aftermath of which left Pramheda upside down and DropKick able to come in for some decent hits right here. DropKick landed one good hit on the front and then another, quickly followed up by Pramheda retreating back to the corner to get itself recovered. You can see we had a lot of early success here with Pramheda trying to back away and get recovered and flip itself back over while we were coming in with some decent hits over and over and over again. We were even able to turn DropKick into a control robot there for a minute. With the pin released, we were able to back off and get a few more good hits in, but DropKick actually split its blade wide open. This stopped DropKick's blade and gave Pramheda some time to get flipped back over. With pretty much no offense and Pramheda back on its feet full speed, we had no chance against him. At this point, all I could hope for was some crazy electrical fire on their end, but with Pramheda working flawlessly, all we could hope for was get to the closing bell in one piece. They kept delivering big hit after big hit. No one had ever really knocked out DropKick, and definitely not in prime condition, so it was a big surprise when Pramheda was able to eat through our armor and absolutely tear into the robot. We had to replace so much stuff on this one, we pretty much only had one copy of the robot left over. And with that hit, we were out cold, but we learned a lot about the robot and what to do moving forward. Highlight number 6. For our next spot on this list, we retained our title of Florida Man against none other than Gator Robotics. This fight was an absolute banger from the opening bell. Hooligan had just become the second 12-pounder in the state of Florida to qualify for NHRL finals, so we knew this thing was going to be an absolute slugfest. They come in really fast with a lot of control, but we were able to get in some good hits and hit their weapon stop. With Hooligan's weapon down, it now has to push us around the arena. We're backed into the corner. We did a bit of a wheelie here. The DropKick's up in the air, turning around, getting a decent hit there, bouncing all around the place. Now coming in for a really decent hit there. Moves Hooligan across the arena, really smashes him against the wall and gets the win. Sometimes losing is just as cool as winning, and our number 5 spot proves that. With DropKick's debut at 12 pounds at Orlando Maker Faire, there was a lot of pressure on to show up and show out. Compound that with the fact that we had to face off against Malice in one of the first rounds. This was an absolutely crazy fight. Both robots are coming straight at each other, and there's a huge hit that knocks off the front of Grudge Frog. They get lined back up. And another decent hit. They're just jockeying for position right now. DropKick looks like it's upside down or something like that. Going in to flip itself back over. Isn't quite successful. Tries to line up another shot, but decides to try to flip itself back over again. It's finally back over. And then we get stuck together with another big hit. At this point, the fight's definitely going in DropKick's favor, and Grudge Frog is going to have to do a lot to pull this one out. Spinning around and around, getting hits on those wheel guards over and over again. The wheel guard is almost gone. And now it's completely off. Grudge Frog running away at this point, trying to get across the arena. It was really difficult to see into this arena. It's a 16 by 32, so you have to take it into consideration that both drivers can't see all the way across the arena. You try to line up another big shot, and there it goes. Huge one right there. And another decent sized shot right there. As time is winding down, Grudge Frog's got to do something. And another huge hit for DropKick. And another one. Now Grudge Frog getting a decent hit in. And DropKick retreating. We'll see if Grudge Frog will take advantage of this, and they do seem to be moving much faster across the arena towards DropKick. Another huge hit there that sends DropKick flying backwards. Grudge Frog starting to get the better of these exchanges. That one knocking back both of the robots. 2 times in a row. Grudge Frog being very aggressive now, exactly what they need to do. And hits the uprights on DropKick, disabling the weapon, and that was the deciding factor for this fight for the judges. It was a close split decision, but it went their way. It was a pretty controversial decision, so let us know what you thought of that fight and who won down in the comments section below. Now we dive right into number 4 with none other than one of the top-ranked NHRL robots, and Yob Gnol. Now this robot is a robot that we fought earlier in the May tournament and as well in the final. We had a really great fight against them. By the last 2 fights, we were pretty damaged, but in this first fight, you'll get to see how our robot fares against theirs when both robots are fully functioning. Chris Rummel is a great driver, so he's trying to make sure he got the right angle on us, and we got a big first hit out the gate. He then volleys a few more. We're trying to get flipped over, but something stops in the robot, and a huge hit. A couple more big hits come in, but our weapon's still going, and right about here, we hit their weapon bar sideways, and it stopped spinning. I think we torqued their frame and it stopped their weapon bar from spinning up, and we were able to kind of capitalize from here. I knew that he could still definitely control the ground game and the wedge game, but if we could get flipped over and keep doing damage, that's all we needed to do. As you can hear, there's a bit of a whining coming from the robot at this point. That was the weapon belt slipping. It started to slip as the frame got bent. He then has us squared up in the corner, and we're having a hard time getting backed out, getting that weapon spinning back up again, so we have to find some space. We do, we get it spinning up again, you can still hear it whining, and we're looking for that big hit. That was a decent one right there, popped them up pretty good, but we're looking for something that's going to disable their drive, and that's just what we did with that hit. So now they're running with half drive, but Chris is such a great driver that it barely makes a difference for him, and we're trying to see if we can get him to oversteer a little bit on that crab walk and then give us the back end so we can get a decent hit there. And boom, final hit bends the whole frame, flips him over. He knows he can't get self-right at this point. There's no reason to take more damage, so he goes for the tap out. Coming in at spot number 3, this is our inaugural NHRL match against Honkers Ghost. We fought Dave plenty of times, but unfortunately this had to be a statement piece here. We'd been so dominant in the South, and we wanted to show everyone that was watching the live stream and everyone up north just how powerful DropKick was. The fight starts out with him making a pretty decent box rush. He turns away to try to get a better angle, but I get a really decent hit in there. And he goes for a flip, just barely misses it. And a really big hit to start off the round. And he pushes me back into the corner. I hit part of the ground, tear up part of the floor. Right about here, I get a decent hit on the back and then a hit on the side. And this is really where the hit started to just add up right here. He does get another good flip in there. Dave is such a good driver, and another good flip. I start tearing up the walls of the arena. And right about here is where it really starts to turn. I get a good hit on the side, volley that into another one. Kind of turned into like a Street Fighter combo right there. I really love this match because it was our standout match. The NHRL kind of stamped our name on the entire tournament, and there was a lot of crazy disruption. Smacking its way into the numbers 2 spot is our fight with Big G. Once again, our Florida Man title was on the line, but in a new weight class, and we had to finish our beetle. With Team Junkyard Dog's Big G being ranked in the top 10 in the world, we knew this was going to be no easy match. With this fight, I just said screw it and went straight for their weapon, saw how it went. We actually won the first tip engagement, and we won the second and the third, and we kept doing good, and we were tearing up the arena. I was really surprised how well DropKick kept up here, and we got another big hit in the air. And here we go, lined up another decent shot, flipped him over, and right here we tore a wheel off of him, hit him again, but then got flipped over. So we had to decide right here whether or not we were going to face him or we were going to turn around and flip ourselves back over. And, oh, I guess we decided to flip ourselves back over. Here we go, back over on our wheels, coming back at them. They're upside down, so those weapons are hitting opposite directions, and a huge hit. And coming in for another one, I guess we didn't decide to flip over here, and another opposite direction hit, and bam! That completely destroys their drive shaft on their motor, and now their weapon's dead. they push us around a good bit, and our weapon's starting to slow down, so I know that I have to just stall out the rest of this fight, but it went to a decision, and we got the win. Great fight. Dropkick proved it could hang in there with the big boys in the 3-pound weight class, and we retained our Florida Man title. Now our fight number 1 comes down to our favorite, our fight with Bottom Feeder. Now there was a good bit of friendly trash talking, a little North versus South robot supremacy going on, and this was an absolute banger. Bottom Feeder's a speedy and agile bot, and you can see him shifting back and forth here. We're having a hard time lining up that first shot, but boom, we get launched across the arena. Our onboard camera flies off, and then you can see we start to line up another shot. He's stuck on the wall there for a minute. We got a good hit there, and then absolute chaos breaks loose after this first hit right here. Boom. Hit after hit after hit. Both bots are flying through the air. Just some of the best robot action condensed in just to a few seconds, and we knock his weapon clean off. We hit his weapon spinning downwards, and it was able to shear all of those bolts off, and the weapon was sitting on the floor. We were celebrating, so pumped, so excited to show everybody what we could do against another powerful spinner. Ryan Klingman's had some absolutely insane knockouts in his time, but this time it was ours. Thank you so much for watching the whole video. Let us know who you'd like to see us fight in the future, regardless of weight class, in the comments section below. This video took nearly a week to edit, so if you'd like to see this channel grow, go ahead and leave a comment below, share, and like this video. Thank you so much, and tune in for the next one.